Okay, we're over here. We're grabbing a doorbell. Avon calling. You're locking the door. I put that blue tape so that I wouldn't get locked out. Front door is locked. The reason why we're locking the front door because this is the last video that I'm doing today, unless the battery goes out on this thing. Okay, and you're going to see it earlier in the report, but if you compare it to the other videos, maybe you see the light in the windows a little different, or maybe I sound a little tired or more tired. Okay, so but this is the last video. All the receptacles I could reach, except for the floor receptacles, I treated them a little differently. But I got this little gizmo here and wired right. I didn't find any issues with the electric receptacles. And I didn't find any issues with the windows, double pane vinyl frame windows. But they are new double pane vinyl frame windows. And so they are quite difficult. They start binding and stuff. They just don't fly up. They're tight. They're tight windows. And this is a tight house. Tight windows, tight doors, lots of insulation. Okay, so that's a good thing. And then we just kind of roll around here. This is our southwest bedroom. That was the office study. Southwest bedroom. We've got some interior plumbing videos where we talk about Timmy, and we also talk about that nasty handle. Look at that. Oh man, that's kind of nasty. All right, this window is what's known as a fixed window. We have some of those. We've got carpet. We've got, this is not LVP, this is better. We got some real wood, quote unquote, laminate. And real wood laminate, it's supposed to have, it's not supposed to have more like 12% moisture content in the wall and the floors, and depending on the manufacturer, and I've got better perimeters baked into the report so I don't have to remember them every time, but I do have targets, and the target is no more than 20% moisture content in the floor. I'm not required to do that, I just do it, and I just use a consumer grade, and I got a picture of it, consumer grade pinless moisture meter, and I have it, and this is over here is where I was getting the elevated moisture, but I was getting 15% over here, and so I'm getting that much, 15% in the driest part that I accidentally found because it was just a throwdown representative sample. And I'm wondering, has this floor been mopped recently? Is this going to dry later? I don't know. But we got laminate, we got ceramic tile, we've got carpet. We got darker carpet in the media room. A lot of this lighter carpet is stained. Okay, but looking across the floor, I don't know if you can see this. I got some still image of this. You see the butt ends of the floor planks? They're humping. Okay, there's little roller coaster. Got little waves rolling all across the floor here. That was the worst part. That's the one that originally caught my attention. I still see a little bit right in there. Okay, I still see a little bit right there. I still see a little bit right there. Okay, but it was more pronounced over here. Maybe we can see it from this direction because the sun's a little different. But yeah, if you come in here, you can see it. You can feel it. You can feel it under your foot. Why are the butt ends of the pieces of wood? Why are they humping up like that? Why am I getting elevated moisture? All home inspectors are required to render opinions about the foundation. Okay, just because I use engineering equipment doesn't make us engineers. I firmly believe that a home inspector should stay in his place. A home inspector that calculates slope and those kinds of things, I feel like he's not in his place. Okay, I'm coming over here. The heater is cranking. All right, we needed to know that. I'm going to put it on cool, just like I did upstairs. And then I'm going to turn it down to 72, just like I did upstairs. Not too cold, because these homes they're so tight. They're supposed to stay conditioned. We don't want our floors humping and doing stuff like that. So I got both air conditioners on 72. But being a home inspector, having to render an opinion about the foundation, I mean, we're looking at the way the structure is behaving. It's a brand new house. I can't find much behavior. I don't have a pattern, a history of behavior. And so I measure the floors for floor height elevation differential to give me another marker to use. And I don't calculate slope, like I said. What I do is I have guidelines, blue collar schmuck guidelines. No more than 1 inch of floor height elevation differential within 30 feet. No more than 2 inches of floor height elevation differential overall. I'm not getting 1 inch floor height elevation differential anywhere. So, does that mean that it's level? Yeah, it means it's pretty level. Does it mean you calculated slope? It doesn't mean I calculated slope. Does it mean that it's stable? It does not even mean that it's stable. It's doing good today. It's doing pretty darn good for a new house. So that's what I do with that. Okay, so going on, we've already been in this bedroom, right? We already and went around and I showed you the stiff and difficult windows. Did I? Was it this room? All right. And the closets and stuff. Now, speaking of closets and stuff, our doors, all right? Our doors are supposed to be sealed on 6 sides. What does that mean, bud? Okay, well, this is the hinge style. All right, that's one side. All right, this is the latch style. That's another side, right? This is the front face, I'm guessing, because it faces the hall. This is the back face because it faces the bedroom. Take your pick. Okay, that's 4 sides. That leaves us with the old top rail, okay? And then we got the bottom rail underneath here. And they're supposed to be sealed to keep them from warping, okay? If you have a moisture event in the house, it doesn't happen very often. I haven't seen this, but I have seen it, okay? In my 30 years of inspecting, I was getting called on to an expert witness case because they had a lot of problems with the house. Big problems. But one of the byproducts of those big problems was that the doors had warped. Okay, and the reason why the doors had warped is because they were denying the warranty. It was a very expensive house, and they were denying the warranty on the doors. The door manufacturer was not warranted the warped doors because the tops and the bottom rails were not sealed. So does that happen every day? No, it doesn't happen every day. Does it happen very often? It does not even happen very often. But should it happen, you don't have a warranty. This is a brand new house. I kind of feel like maybe you want a warranty. All these receptacles work. I've been in here working on those. All right, checking them out. Everything is pretty good. Smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms are in all of the locations that they're supposed to be in. All right, they are. They're everywhere they're supposed to be. That front door is locked. All right, we're going upstairs, and some of this carpet around here on the edges is a little bit boogered up, the paint or what, and a lot of this white carpet, especially upstairs, but in some other places too, but a lot of the carpet, and some people have been putting blue tape on the walls, and I admit I put those 2 pieces of blue tape there. It's not my job. I don't do that kind of stuff, all right? So that's my clients. And the house is being built. People are coming in. Painters just left. It's late in the day. They're going to come in tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. But they could come in tomorrow and fix some of these things. So some of these things maybe they wanted to fix. Some of these things are going to fix. But if they don't fix them, we got some blue tape around. And you need to be, I say you need to be doing this. I don't mean to be saying that. But, you just know at the top of the stairs, you see that little spot right there. Coming in, this is an interesting suite. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's more like a suite. It's less like a bathroom. It's got its own bathroom. It's not like a bedroom. It's got its own bathroom. It's like a bedroom area or living room area, bedroom area or living room area. So it's kind of like almost like a separate living quarters. All right. In college, I didn't have this much, So. All right, coming on along, you see me turning off lights. Okay, this is the pass-through bathroom, and we've been talking about this and stuff, but I'm just turning off lights and vents, making sure everything's fine. Now, this is kind of interesting. This is a thermostat. Remember I told you, I said I left it on 72. Cool, okay. But this is in a bedroom, and it's also facing a west window. Okay, so the sun comes in this window, and the radiant heat during different seasons hits the thermostat. Thermostat's a dumb animal. It doesn't know that it's getting heated up by the sun. It just knows that it's warmer in here than you want it to be. So it either won't give you any heat, you might be freezing, or it might be giving you, it'll give you more air conditioning than you asked for, you might be freezing. So it might be. And then another thing is in the bedroom. So what do we got here? I hope you got a lock. Yeah, we got a lock right here. Okay, so people will be texting you going like, change the thermostat, because it only knows what the temperature is in this room. And so it's, like I said, it might be a smart thermostat, but it's a dumb animal. And it's going to do whatever it can do to make you happy. Whatever temperature you put it on there, it's not going to give it up until it reaches that temperature. It may never reach the temperature. Your car may never go 120 miles an hour, even though it's on the thermostat, but on the speedometer. But if you had a thermostat on your car, you could set your car to 120, and your car would run, full speed ahead until it reached that 120, even if it couldn't. So that's something to kind of think about. Doors are getting closed. Attic doors are getting closed. I was getting some high temperature readings in the insulation right in here in this closet. This is the southwest bedroom. Okay, I was getting some high temperature readings right there. And coming on out and closing doors and stuff. And moving on along. The floor receptacles, I was only able to test them, all 4 of them. There's 3 upstairs and there's 1 downstairs. And I was only able to test them for power because I couldn't get my continuity thing in there. I couldn't test them to make sure that they that their polarity was correct. I couldn't test them if they actually had grounding. On the ceiling up here, the wall actually, I think, I'll have to look, but the insulation is lacking right around here. Everywhere the insulation is lacking is also adjacent to the attic space above the primary bedroom suite. Okay, so we're up here. We're doing fine. This is another attic access door. These windows, like I said, double pane vinyl frame. Some of them are kind of difficult. These receptacles worked fine, but there used to be the bedroom door window could not be closer to the floor than 24 inches, and that's not the case any longer. They measure the wall and the sill, the interior sill or the stool, whatever you want to call it. But they now those measurements are commingled, and so windows are allowed to be not real close to the floor, but a little closer to the floor. And then we're in here a little bit because we're in here a little bit types of people, and we're just kind of rocking this. We're rocking on along, and we got a little bit of rust right in there around the drain stop. We're in the southeast bedroom. Now, since you can get up on this bench or whatever, they've decided to put little, they call them keepers. And so these windows have a keeper feature, so you can raise them up, but not high enough for a kid to crawl out of. And then on the roof, you can't see it with the way the sun is. It's weird, the way reflections and stuff. But when I was here earlier, I even took a picture of it, but we kind of have a little hump on our drip edge on the shingles right outside of there. And this is the time when I like to say, thank you, dear client, for your trust in your business. Those things mean the world to my family and I. And for my YouTube nation out there, all 12 of you. Well, thank you, Cleburne. Okay. Cleburne, Texas. Okay, all 13 of you. All right. There's a like button. Just jam it. Just get that thing done, man. Okay. And if you're having some trouble, sleeping, if you got YouTube insomnia, I've heard that my smooth, mellow FM radio voice can put you right to sleep and cures the YouTube insomnia. So there is I don't know if it's a follow or a join or whatever. It doesn't cost anything, never cost anything. And, I never say never, maybe I'll get rich doing this, but it doesn't look like it. And it's not why I'm making the videos. I'm making the videos for my clients. Okay, the clothes dryer is not labeled. It's supposed to have a length on it and the width of it. It's supposed to calculate it so you can get your clothes dryer out there. But anyway, like me up, hit me up, follow me up, do that kind of stuff. Do that, make me an influencer. Yeah, I'm an influencer. I know a few influencers. This is a shower. It goes both ways, but that's good. It can go both ways as long as it does go out. Okay. The bathtub is kind of funny the way they did the caulk around the bottom of it. But we got a whole interior plumbing plumbing deal here. So, and my dear client, you can call me at any time. I like to talk. I'm a ham. All right. So if you got, dear client, this is to you, my client. But if you got any questions about this house, please do not hesitate to call me. Okay. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I want to talk about it just as much as you want to talk about it. So, yeah, that. And also to my client, because the rest of my YouTube nation, I haven't worked for y'all. Okay, you haven't read my reports. But my client, this is to you, client. And but a good Google review means a lot to a small businessman like myself. So I would really appreciate something like that. So we had videos from the exterior. I saw a rabbit out there. Some people think I have ADHD, XYZ. Okay, there's a gas port out there, but I don't know how it's going to work depending on the weather. Smells coming into the house. Now this is the part I wanted to talk about. That wall's crooked. All right. That wall has a 1/2 inch of deflection in less than 4 feet. Okay, according to the National Association of Home Builders? Yeah, the National Association of Home Builders. They have self-published, expectations, trying to manage people. Because people don't have realistic expectations. Nobody can finish building a house. So they put this little book together. And they said, this isn't a problem, or that's not a problem. And then they kind of explain what a problem is. And so sometimes, they think this is a problem. And if they think it's a problem, I think it's a problem. Okay. We're over here. This is the patio door. Okay, digging the tape off. Again, I had the tape on there so that I didn't get locked out. Windows are working, doors are open. Dishwasher's dishwashing, food waste disposal. You know what? I don't think I ever ran this disposal. I really don't. I did the cooktop, and the gas valve is over here underneath this countertop right here, underneath right there. So if you have an emergency, you just go up in there and turn off the gas, which is kind of weird because you also got these drawers, but I imagine they're not going to stay empty. But no, I never ran the food waste disposal. Okay. Beautiful. But I did talk about some stuff. I talked about the electric wire going through the wall right there. I talked about the water supply piping, the valves, the install, the mounting plates not being supported. I talked about some stuff. I'm a talker. I'm talking. Well, it looks like we got some extra shelves in here. Kind of closing this down. And that's the only ceiling fan that I've seen. All right. So all right. I like the way those light up, man. You can put stuff up there. I like the way they light up. I just don't know how to turn them off. I don't know how to turn them off. Somebody's got some blue tape up there. Look at there. I didn't do that blue tape, but I like what they did. Yeah, they were smart about it. How do you turn them off? How do you turn them off? Huh. Well, I might leave them on. I can't turn them on. We got more switches. Than we know what to do with. That's for the fireplace. I was never able, and this should have been in the other video, but since it's the interior, but I was never able to get the fireplace to operate. I'm not turning on valves. This is turned off for a reason. I don't disassemble this thing. It's new. It should have been ready to go. And I come over here and I turn that on. I'll be back here in a minute to turn it off. I'm just looking for some. That's the only ceiling fan. That is just crazy. I did it. Okay, those lights over there, okay, are the farther switch. I don't know why it's over here like that, man, but it is. I'm glad I got it, though. I'm glad I got it. And then I'm coming over here, you know, I got to pick up my stuff. But, yeah, that's crooked. That's crooked as a dog's hind leg. Sure is. No extra charge for my hillbilly colloquialisms. All right. There's a floor receptacle, and again, I got power to it, and I wasn't able to see the grounding or the polarity. And then coming on through here. We're almost done. Oh man, I thought I turned you off. Seems like I'll never get out of here. There you go. Double check you. All right. There's a little half bath. Okay, the vent pipe, the plumbing vent pipe for this pipe doesn't have enough pitch in the attic. And the exhaust vent does not go in the most direct path as it should. Wait a minute. I think this might have been tripped. Yeah, it was. Reset that. Okay. Coming on in. There we go, man. Wait a minute. I know you're locked. I can see that you're locked. I don't trust me. 72 degrees. 2 ceiling fans. One in the primary bedroom. One in the primary bedroom and one in the great family living room. So they call them living rooms. They call them family rooms. Look at there. We've got a fire. Look at that. Look at that. And I turned it off. Okay. It actually works. Hallelujah. But here's one thing. The manufacturer's probably okay with this installation. But I don't have the manufacturer's installation instructions. And we don't have a hearth extension. And you know what? That window's never going to be open. Those logs are never going to fall out. Hearth extension really isn't your best real estate, in my opinion. But until I know better, I'm going to write that you don't have a hearth extension. And you're going to think I'm crazy and stupid. And then, but we all agree. We all agree that I'm crazy and stupid. I may be a crazy, stupid home inspector, but I'm your crazy, stupid home inspector. Okay. You can't see my Mission Impossible escape.